Diyos ko, akala mo ba yung presidente natin nagtatrabaho? Hindi nagtatanong yan at all. I swear to the flag.
They know that we have progressed, not maybe to the level of Singapore, but we are moving up under the leadership of President Marcos.
Diyos ko, akala mo ba yung presidente natin nagtatrabaho? Hindi nagtatanong yan at all. I swear to the flag.
We're already rising under his leadership, and then, the momentum was all the way up. No?
Diyos ko, akala mo ba yung presidente natin nagtatrabaho? Hindi nagtatanong yan at all. I swear to the flag.
The Marcos before was different, so that was an era that my father was on the other side, and we restored democracy at that point. But now, his son, to me, is doing a good job.
Diyos ko, akala mo ba yung presidente natin nagtatrabaho? Hindi nagtatanong yan at all. I swear to the flag.
He is very passionate when it comes to helping the private sector, which is the engine of growth. And I believe that he will do the right thing.
Diyos ko, akala mo ba yung presidente natin nagtatrabaho? Hindi nagtatanong yan at all. I swear to the flag.
Today, usapang real tayo na negosyo. At ang makakausap ko po ay si Jose Concepcion III, also known as Joeycon. Alam niyo, si Joeycon ay isang higante sa pagnenegosyo. At siya ang presidente at board member ng RFM Corporation. Pero bukod dyan, siya ang nagkampiyon ng, siguro naririnig nyo, yung Go Negosyo. Dahil advocacy niya talaga ang paigtingin ang entrepreneurial spirit o yung diwa ng pagnenegosyo ng mga Pinoy. Dahil yan daw talaga ang makakapag-ahon sa atin sa kahirapan. Pero paano na ngayon na talagang lugmok tayo sa iskandalong katiwalian? And that's what we're going to be talking about today with Joeycon. Hi, Joey. How are you?
Good.
How is business? I think that's the main business today.
Well, our company is doing very well, and many other companies, but fairly on the large companies, since we have the resources, even as we hit this huge storm that has, been battering us.
Storm literally and figuratively.
Yeah, and what's, as a public company, if we lose the trust in our investors, they will pull out the investment that they have made in RFM, and our shares will plummet. And you have to look at the Philippines as Philippines Inc. You have the CEO, which is the president, and of course his cabinet, which are the people that run each sector, similar to what RFM is and many other companies. That's how it's structured. And the issue really here is transparency. Of course, you have the legislators and you have the citizens of the country. And I look at the citizens of the country as shareholders of Philippines Inc. That's how I link that. And that's how we should look at the Philippines. Similar to America, ASEAN countries. So when I was in Malaysia, I was the vice chair then. Today, I was elevated as the incoming chair of ASEAN.
just for clarification, vice chair of ASEAN Business Advisory Council. Pero ngayon po, chairman na po si Joeycon.
Since the Philippines now has taken over the hosting, so we are the lead now among the ASEAN countries.
Okay.
And in Malaysia, I had to be truthful to everybody because the questions, just so the timing of KL and the controversy here was right smack into the whole thing.
Wow.
So it was endless. Everybody, my fellow back members were all asking, what's happening to your country? What kind of corruption is happening? So even the investors in the ASEAN Business Advisory, that the last event, all the investors from all over the countries come in to see. So the news was not good so I had to come out with a statement that these are challenges that we face, not even today, but even in the past. Corruption has always existed in the Philippines. The point being is that we have a president now that is trying to do his best to really eradicate all of this. And unfortunately, it happened. Now, how do we re-image ourselves? How do we improve our image? And I believe that those who have been found guilty should really be brought to jail. No? Imagine if your investors start pulling out of your company, RFM would collapse. In the similar manner, if all these banks would not lend money to the Philippines or foreign investors would stop investing in the Philippine stock market, public companies will also be affected. So we have to, I know the president is doing his best to try to hopefully regain the trust of not only the citizens of the Philippines, but of course the trust of the investors who will only invest in a country if they see that there is a future. The moment they see corruption, then they say, oh, then that's an issue. They will hold back.
Yeah. Okay, sir, let's take it up one by one. No? Ang nababasa po sa mga balita ngayon ay, sabihin na natin, the latest one being the stock market drop. No? And also the depreciation of the peso.
Yeah.
I think it's at its lowest, no? Or it hit its lowest just a day or so ago. 59 na, and sabi ng mga analysts, hanggang 2026 na raw ito. Yun ang forecast. How does this affect MSMEs? Kasi yan ang advocacy mo.
Well, yung mga MSME natin, at least they are affected if the economy is affected. They're not exposed to the currency because not all
Yung
of them,
global, no?
they're not
Oo.
exposed to that. And the way I see it, what we are trying to protect are these micro and small. Pabayaan ng medium and large, we can find a way around this.
So kung hindi depreciation, okay, how are MSMEs hurting right now with this corruption scandal? How does this affect them?
Well, you know, I look at not only MSMEs, but the citizens, they are the shareholders of Philippine Inc. So if I am an investor in RFM Corporation and I see these problems, the first thing I will do is to withdraw my investment in the company. And how do they invest today in the public companies? They go to the stock market, the Philippine Stock Exchange, and they put their money, hard-earned money there, and invest in companies because they believe that they're doing well. But when you have chaos like this, and in a way the government is affected because to lose trust in a branch of the government, the legislative group, people in Congress, in the Senate, and all of that, these are your key people that drive in the direction of the economy. And they are supposed to be respected. But scandals like this destroys the trust of investors overseas. Shall I put my money in the Philippines or elsewhere?
What I want to ask, for example, is, so the legislators have failed because they themselves are in the thick of the scandal.
Yes, and fine if they individually they are doing whatever they're doing, no? But it's the whole image that we break. Not only us in the business community will lose confidence, our investors will say, what's happening in your country? I will hold back my investment. And rather than them investing in us, they will look elsewhere to the other ASEAN countries who see that, like in Singapore, how can you beat them? The moment you are still there, they'll put you in jail right away, no questions asked.
Yes.
So our president will have to be really firm. I mean, tough things have to be done to change
What should
this.
he do exactly when you say tough things ought to be done?
I think those who are guilty of this should be placed in jail. There's no other choice.
But what if the perception is may pinoprotektahan?
I think that is a challenge, but I'm sure that President Marcos knows that this is his legacy. No? I mean, his term is about to end, and we want to really support him because we can't be the last man in Asia, ASEAN, to really be there back down. You know, we're already rising under his leadership, and then I mean, the momentum was all the way up, no, until this thing happened. This is the only thing that is dragging us. We are doing very well as a company. I mean, the consumer spending is up. Investors are investing in RFM because they see our profits moving up. And you have this scandal. So people will hold back first. Like our investors, they've held back. They're asking us what is happening to your country. We have to explain. We have to tell them the truth. You cannot
How do
lie.
you explain exactly? May I ask you, in these negotiations or in your conversations with your partners abroad, for example, paano kayo nagpapaliwanag ng corruption dito? I mean, I'm sure they know that there's corruption wherever you go, but you have to admit the scale of this corruption now is really different. It's phenomenal.
So what we
How
do-
do you explain
yeah.
that to them?
So we're doing a roadshow right now. So our CFO is going out to Hong Kong, Singapore, and other ASEAN countries to meet with our investors and potential investors to explain to them the current situation, how exposed is RFM to all of this, etc., etc. We have to ensure to them that RFM, the company they invested, their investment is intact. And in fact, being in the private sector, yes, maybe corruption technically doesn't exist in the private sector because we're on top, but yet you will have petty things that are down there. No?
Meron pa rin.
But it's minor because an employee here has the malasakit. So I guess the challenge really now is how to, again, bring back the image of the Philippines, no? As a country that foreign investors should invest and be guaranteed that their investment will have a chance to prosper, no? And that is how do you bring back confidence. And the only way to bring back confidence is those guilty will have to pay the price for it, no?
much pressure are you placing on government in order to put those guilty behind bars? And swiftly, okay? Because
Well-
I think that's what people are looking to see, di ba? Yung, sana now na, but we also know that the judicial process is very lengthy.
The investors that invest in companies, in countries, especially like the Philippines, which among, you've got Cambodia, you've got Myanmar, you've got Laos, and all of the ASEAN
ASEAN.
countries, it becomes more challenging in our case because they know that we have progressed, not maybe to the level of Singapore, but we are moving up under the leadership of President Marcos. And it's just unfortunate that his own cousin is part of this, no? And it's just disappointing that we were really doing well under his leadership, and you have this. And I'm sure that President Marcos will find, and that's why he's really very concerned about the situation, because if we don't correct this, then it will come back again. So yes, okay, this happened. Let's move on. Those guilty will have to, suffer the consequences, and we in the private sector will have to, as we go out. And the good thing about it today is that we are now the leader. We have taken the chairmanship. So the president is the chairman of the government, and I am for the private sector as well. So we have explained to all the other ASEAN countries their concerns. We've replied to them. I've talked to them, and they're still positive about the Philippines, because they see that the Filipinos are really hardworking. And in fairness to President Marcos, he moves as fast together with the First Lady. But we do get surprises at times. An anomaly that's quite huge, we get hit with that. It happens, pilferage with some of the salespeople, but they're petty.
Yes.
But this is not the time to abandon the administration of President Marcos. We have to support our president, because if he fails, we will all fail in the private sector, definitely.
I'm sure you're aware that there are protests lined up all the way to the end of the month and probably beyond. No? Itong mga ganitong mass actions, nakaka-apekto po ba yan sa negosyo?
Well, definitely. And, when we saw it's a people power and all of that, the revolution, yes, okay, change of government, but definitely the investors will hold back because they don't know what will the outcome be. I believe that President Marcos is doing still a good job. Yes, there are elements like Martin who's there, but they have no proof yet on his
Or
case.
for example, how will impeachment moves affect it? Impeachment of the president. We're not even really talking now about the impeachment of VP Sara, which was what was the issue a couple of months back. Now, parang ang namumuo pa nga is baka yun ang objective. I mean, I'm not saying it is, but I'm sure hindi yun nawawala sa utak ng
Well,
tao.
My father went against his father during the martial days. Under President Marcos, he's a totally different leader. You can see he's created the Private Sector Advisory Council, and he's brought in the best minds in business to help him.
You're talking about
Marcos
Jr.
today, yes.
Yeah.
The Marcos before was different. So that was an era that my father was on the other side, and we restored democracy at that point. But now, his son, to me, is doing a good job. Yes, you can control relatives, issues like Martin. He's not been found guilty yet, so they have to give his day in court. But the president knows that. No, if I were the CEO of the country, I would definitely put a relative or a brother or sister of mine who's guilty. Because we have to show
Jail,
that.
you mean?
Yes, there's no other choice.
Do you think he has what it takes to actually do what needs to be done, even if it's family?
I think it's a tough decision. But these tough decisions have to be made in times like this. No? And I'm confident that President Marcos has that vision. He really wants. He is very passionate when it comes to helping the private sector, which is the engine of growth. And I believe that he will do the right thing. I think there are, of course, a lot of challenges in this administration. And this time, it's not good to, fire everybody. The entire Congress to disappear will be more in shambles. No? So I'm not saying we forgive. I think those who are really committed a huge mistake should be jailed. But there are a lot of congressmen still there that are honest. No? I think we have to ride this through. It's very hard because I don't think this has ever happened in our history yet. This is the first time since I was, that we saw something like this, no, of this magnitude. Normally we would have petty corruption, but this is a different type. No, it's so huge, and I believe that many of the congressmen today will learn from this. No, I mean everybody. We have to learn from this experience, and not allow it to happen again. I think we have to support our president today. We have to support his vision of the Philippines. There is no way if we challenge the current administration, we're all going to lose.
No, but kunyari, taxes nga, pwede bang relief? Tax relief man lang sa VAT? Is that doable, you think? Is that something that business leaders like you can push at least to help people a little bit, tide them over? Kasi, life goes on, right? And they continue to pay the high taxes. Wala bang short term, sir? Ang relief lang?
Well,
Yung
I mean,
pag-iisipin.
I think the government, the revenues come from the taxes that the people pay, no?
Yes.
And of course, handling the responsibility, like my shareholders, no? They invest in RFM, we get their money, we invest it in expansion, no?
Right.
And sometimes we make mistakes. Quite often enough, there are mistakes. And we have to explain to our investors that, sorry, we missed our target, we made a mistake. So we tell them what went wrong. We don't hide it, because the moment you hide your mistake and you're not transparent, then they will stop investing in you. So that's what we have to prevent. I think President Marcos, BBM, we have to give him that chance. Yes, this is a very challenging job that he has taken, no? And especially with the situation that nobody predicted something of this magnitude to happen. No? I mean,
But he could have prevented it. I mean, he was the one who signed the budget after all.
Maybe true, but it's very hard. There's some mistakes that I've done. No? Certain capex that I trust in my people, I would sign it, and then it just doesn't work. No? It fails. No? So it's harder when you work for the government. It's a much bigger bureaucracy, and you don't own it. Here we own the company, so we're extremely passionate, and if your shareholders get pissed, then you're out. No, so I think we should give the president a chance to turn this thing around, and we have been part of it. His private advisory council, no, the PISAC, which he created, which made us more participative in his administration. There's no other president who has asked the private sector to work for government and give advice. Even Tessie, myself, and all the others, big business, are part of this private sector advisory. And he does work because he gets immediate feedback from the business community of what is really happening. No?
Yeah. Okay, ganito na lang, sir. What about worst case scenario? What do you think would be the worst case scenario?
The worst case?
Yeah.
I never look at the worst case.
You don't prepare for the worst case?
We do, but I don't overthink it because it might really come to that point. So I'm more of an optimist. Yes, sometimes we do prepare for worst case, but that's just there in case it happens.
What is that? I guess my question is, for Philippines Inc., what would be the worst case?
Well,
the removal of the president,
No,
is that a worst case for you?
I hope that never happens, because that will be definitely the fall of the Philippines. It will just signal that everybody. We should be careful in navigating through this. Yes, it has happened. People will have to go to jail, and people may apologize because maybe their participation was very minor. But if they're at fault, then they should apologize to the country. But I think the president will really play a key role here. No,
What will happen if he does get removed from office?
And then we will have total chaos, no? Because I've been with President Duterte and many other presidents, and I would rank BBM as one of the top. No, yes, you can't control your families at times. No, but we have to give this administration a chance because we do have the momentum. If we will all suffer if we take out the president. It's really stupid. I mean, we have to give him our trust at this time because this boat will sink if the leadership is gone. No? And I don't think President Marcos is stupid. I mean, he's bright. He's He's hardworking. He's malasakit to the Pinoys are there. And he has one of, I've never seen a first lady exposed and very simple at, helping the poor. Her clothes are just simple, no makeup, no, and sometimes when you're eating, she would get some of your food. So to me, that's a simple first lady. She dresses up, in the normal way that everybody, so that's the simplicity is there. So how many more years do we have under Marcos? 2, 3?
Yeah.
So he should finish his term. And to me, taking him out is the most stupid thing that will ever happen. And we will go straight down under the water. So
That's your worst case.
yes, and I believe that President Marcos is the right person. Remember, we came from the other side. I've been supporting him because I believe that he has the vision that is different. Sometimes the children do much better than their parents, no?
By other side, you mean Duterte, no?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I think the private sector has his full support, and I believe he's the person that can get us out of this mess. To get him out will be the worst thing. And I've seen him work hard. He works extremely hard, and the First Lady is his best co-pilot. I've never seen a tandem like that, no. Both of them working together. They're still together, married, happily married. To me, that's important. And whenever I go in KL, they ask me these questions, and I'm glad the president appeared also in KL. So the president will have to answer all of these questions and explain it, and that's his job. No? But to abandon him in his current position as the president will be the biggest mistake. Because then all investors will say, oh, it's really true. Let's all pack up. So it's not going to work. We have to support him in this turbulent time, which actually it is not his fault. No? It is the other side branch of government that has really created this chaos.